a brand new poll out of Iowa. The poll considered the gold standard in polling in the first caucus state. It comes from the Des Moines Register, and it shows Donald Trump with the largest lead at this stage since the 2000 contest won by George W. Bush. You can see 42% say Trump is their top choice. Ron DeSantis down at 19, everyone else behind that. I'm joined now by former White House senior policy advisor Ashley Allenson and CNN political commentator S.E. Cupp. It is great to see both of you this morning. S.E., I want to start with you because when you look at that poll, what's interesting is that Trump's numbers actually got better after the Georgia indictment. He was at 38% before the indictment. He went up to 43% after. DeSantis went down after the indictment. So if you're DeSantis or any of the others looking up at Trump this morning in Iowa, what are you thinking?
You're thinking it might be time to change your campaign strategy of not hitting Donald Trump. The light touches have not worked. The light criticism without naming him haven't worked. They're not differentiating themselves from one another, and they're not taking on the front runner, which is how you win. So as long as they want to keep sort of whiffing and pretending Trump isn't maybe going to go to prison at some point soon, I think they're all going to be living in the basement for the next few months.
Actually, one other number for your viewing pleasure I want to put up this morning. This comes from a CBS News poll. They asked Trump voters, who do you feel what they tell you is true? In other words, who do you trust the most when they tell you something? Trump leads with 71%. He's beating your friends and family, who are at 63%, religious leaders down to 42%. Trump voters believe Donald Trump more than they believe mom and dad or their local minister. What does that tell you?
Well, I think there was a point when you would want your president of the United States to be in the top three of someone that you trusted and believed. But what Donald Trump did before he was even elected president is he started to sow doubt in systems and people. And now he is really reaping the benefits of those efforts. He did it in debates against Hillary Clinton. He did it while he was actually president, and he continues to do it now that he has lost the election and won't even acknowledge it. I think for all the other candidates, though, you have to really think about not just beating Donald Trump, but how you are going to start communicating with the American public. And this actually includes Joe Biden about how they're going to get their information, how they want to receive their information, how you start to deprogram folks who are continuously being lied to by someone like Donald Trump, but won't accept that it's not truth. Because if we don't actually start to go a layer deeper beneath Donald Trump, we are going to find ourselves in a whole election that is rooted in myths and disinformation and flat out lies.
So how do you address that, S.E., on the debate stage Wednesday night? I guess I want to differentiate because well, is this debate Ron DeSantis and everyone else, or are they all in one pack here, S.E.?
No, I think they're, for the most part, in a pack. For most Americans, this will be the first time they ever get to see Nikki Haley, Tim Scott debate. I think that's really important. And both of those two figures have unique backgrounds and opportunities to differentiate themselves. All eyes will definitely be on Ron DeSantis because the hype was so high for his candidacy and he has underperformed. So to see him answering tough questions and against other competitors will be important for his campaign. I think a turning point potentially for his campaign. And yeah, I think everyone's going to get an equal opportunity on that debate stage to make their case, but they have to do just that. And what I've been saying is you don't even have to fully attack Donald Trump to do it. You have to say, I know you like Donald Trump. I like him too, but he might be going to prison. Let's elect someone who won't be going to prison. That's a real simple thing to say and not, tick off a bunch of Trump voters in the process by just being honest and stating the obvious. I hope at least one person on that stage will do that.
Ashley, if you're on that stage and you're not Ron DeSantis, should your number one target be, A, Ron DeSantis, B, Donald Trump, C, Joe Biden? Rank them in order of who you should be talking about besides yourself if you're one of the other candidates.
Well, I think you should go after Donald Trump, and then I think you should look at the rest of the field. Ron DeSantis leading the pack, but the rest of the field as one, and then obviously go and attack Joe Biden, because you actually have to beat Joe Biden to be the president of the United States. It means nothing if you're at the top of the ticket for the Republican Party, but then you lose on general election day. You have fought a good fight, but you have not won the actual battle. So you need to actually attack Donald Trump to just unseat him in his lead, but then really look at the whole pack and start to tick away folks one by one.
Essie, the Joe Biden campaign and the Democrats, they're going to start basically going after Donald Trump now-ish. They're going to start spending money now. Do you think that's a good idea? What do they get out of that?
Yeah, I mean, they're basically pivoting to a general election, which is smart. Joe Biden is the presumed nominee, but Cornel West and RFK Jr. are presenting some issues potentially. So I would clear them out of the way and start acting like the general election has begun. And if that's the case, you're taking on the front runner, and that is unequivocally Donald Trump. I think it's money well spent.
Ashley and Essie, thank you both very much. Look forward to speaking with you in the coming days.